try to get this thing popping a little technical. I can hear this interview because it's gonna be a good one.
All right, here we go.
Yo.
There you go. Now I can hear you. There
Yes,
you go.
sir. What I do before you? I'm fucking up already.
Nah, you good, man. Yo, I'm feeling that hat, man. I just ordered me some Mets gear.
Come on, baby. Come on, man. Let's go Mets, baby. Frankie
You know,
Lindor, baby. Come on.
all the way, man.
Come on, baby.
But
Come
yo,
on.
man, I want to thank you very much for being on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You one of
Thank
them
you, bro.
dudes that when I first got out to LA, like I was really impressed to meet. Um, One of the things was because I ain't never met a black dude with a house that big. Like that's serious. Like yo, you had a mansion back then, like a little mini mansion. And I remember sitting in your office. It was like a circular office. You had all of those 70s posters, like the original joints.
Yes, sir.
The
Yep. Yes, sir.
original, not no copy off Hollywood Boulevard. You had the original joints.
Yep.
And you know, we were just sitting there watching a lot of like black exploitation. We stayed there like 6 hours just watching movies. We were just kicking it, and I just noticed how deep you were, and you weren't caught up into that whole Hollywood scene, but you were on a major network on the #1 rated show at that time.
Yeah.
How did you balance all of that?
Yo, you know what's crazy, bro? Like, one of the reasons I had all of those posters around, I still got, like, I'm starting to recollect a lot of stuff too. All of that shit was the shit that inspired me, man. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a constant reminder. Like all of those movies I watched growing up. Coolie High was the first movie made me cry. You know what I'm
Me
saying?
too. Me
And I
too.
was, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, it's like I gotta somehow, some way when I start to write. See, I'm different because if you remember, one of the posters I had at one point, I had like 78 posters.
Damn.
And these are all like you know, different parts of my past and my history that are inspirations for me. But one in particular, it was a smaller joint because I had different sizes and whatnot. I had a smaller joint, and it was a Sanford and Son thing. It was a Sanford and Son one sheet, and that was the most important one to me because Sanford and Son made me want to be a writer.
Okay.
And there was an episode that Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney wrote called "The Dowry," and Fred is to get $10,000, or somebody's going to get $10,000 if they marry the fat stepdaughter of Fred's cousin.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw that joint, shorty, and I remember right after that. It was a Friday night, and it was Friday night. Was the Gong Show came on 7:30, Sanford and Son came on 8 o'clock, and Chico and the Man 8:30, and the Rockford Files at 9 o'clock. I'll never forget that shit. And soon as Sanford and Son went off, I remember turning to my mother and saying, "Mommy, I want to be a writer." And she kind of looked at me, kind of curious. I was 10 years old. And I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so from that point, man, it was like, you know, not to get to your question, I had those posters around me at that point because that's what kept me grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like I was living well, had the big crib. You know what I'm saying? And you know, beautiful family. I was good. I was making I was doing what I wanted to do. I was, you know, life was good. But you know, I was smart enough to know, like, yo, I had to keep myself grounded, and I always did. And those constant reminders, man, like always kept me grounded. In particular, Sanford and Son. Because yo, here's the ill shit. What's crazy about us talking today is the 28th anniversary of when I moved to California. It was March 3rd, 1993.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It was March 3rd,
That's
1993.
crazy.
March 3rd,
That's crazy.
1 week after the first World Trade Center bombing.
Damn.
And if you check, matter of fact, check my Facebook page because I reposted a status. Because let me tell you what happened. You know, check my status, but I'm gonna tell you a story because we on, you know, we telling stories.
Yeah, please.
So yo, it was. Prior to working on Martin, I worked at Yo MTV Raps. I was there for 2 years, and I had given my 2 weeks notice. And Ed and Dre gave me this dope send off and the top 10 countdown on Yo and all of that. So I had 2 weeks to kind of kill. The first week, I just kind of went around the city and I was saying goodbye to everybody and my bon voyages and thank yous and all of that shit. And, you know, I see you when I see yous. And then the next week, bro, I got crazy sick, yo. It was like I was throwing up. I was just like, Yo, I don't know what it was, man, but I was just deathly sick, like just disgusting coronavirus shit back in '93. And so MTV had this big Bon Voyage party for me. So somehow, some way, I mustered enough strength to go. And I never forget, bro, this cab driver, I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and this cab driver picked me up. The party was like on Canal. And so he picked me up on Canal. We went over the bridge. And as we was going over the bridge, I don't know this dude. I don't know this dude, you know, for nothing. I swear, on my mother grave, I don't know this dude for nothing. And this dude was like, "Yo, so you ready to make that big move?" I was going to get on a plane the next day.
Right.
Like, "Yo, so you get ready to make this move, huh?" And he brother too had lots. And I was like, "Yeah, like, you know," he's like, "Yo, just whatever you do, go out there and just, you know, keep your head on straight." And, you know, like he was sunning me, he was schooling me, you know what I'm saying? And and I didn't know this dude from nobody. I don't know how the fuck he even knew to give me that wisdom, you know what I'm saying? But I took it. And I'm telling you what, you know, 28 years later, because I remember that the next day getting to JFK, and Martin was performing that night at the amphitheater, Universal Amphitheater in LA, Universal City.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to get there, you know, early so we could work on some material and, you know, they can go on stage and try it out. But because it was a week after the first World Trade Center bombings, everything was fucked up at JFK. So my flight, I didn't leave till like, what time is it now? It's 8:30 now. I was in the air. I was in the air 28 years ago today. I was in the air right now, 28 years ago today, in the airport, on an airplane with 2 army-sized duffel bags with all my shit, going to California, moving out there. So I land, get to the amphitheater, and Martin is on stage. And I got my shit with me. I got, boom, dropping 2 duffel bags like, you know, some stuff and shit. Martin is on stage, so he does a double take, sees me on stage. You can look at my Facebook status. And I'm in LA. So, you know, the show ends, Martin kills, he does his thing, and we go to his dressing room right after the show. And, you know, we eating, we had a little drink, whatever. And the first person that came in, shorty, was Natalie Cole.
Wow.
Right? Now, 6 hours earlier, I'm in New York. I'm saying goodbye to my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Long Island saying goodbye to my grandma. I miss you. I love you. All of that shit. Now I'm in LA in my man's dressing room who just killed the amphitheater. And Natalie fucking Cole comes in. So I'm chilling with my grandmother 6 hours ago. Now I'm chilling with Nat King Cole's daughter. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm bugging. And the first thing she says, right? This is my first experience. I'm just off the boat. First thing she says was, she looks at Martin, she said, "Man, you was a funny motherfucker, nigga." Like, and then she used all the good curse words, Joy, like, and I'm like, Natalie fucking Cole curses and shit. Like,
cursing like a motherfucker. Get out.
Yo, and I'm a buck. So that was my first 15 minutes in fucking Hollywood, man. I had been out there, I've been visiting, you know, all of that shit. But I'm living there like I made the move, you know what I'm saying? Like I had all my shit. And I remember like later on that same night, man, like I remember Big Tommy came through, Tommy Ford came through. And it was big because we was calling Big Tommy, Little Tommy. Tommy Ford was Big Tommy, and Little Tommy was Tommy Davidson.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, so Tommy came through and shit, and Tommy had everybody laughing. Tommy Davidson took, like, as it is now. I think everybody from the show came through, man, and it's like, and I was off and running, man, and it's like, fast forward 28 years ago right now, I was in the airplane 28 years ago, because it's 5:30 out there. It's just after, you know, almost 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I remember getting there. Martin's show started at 9, and I got there like half hour into the show, so 9:30. Probably didn't take me no time to get from the airport, surprisingly. I remember that shit. And I remember the limo driver being dope as a female. She was bad. God damn, she was fine. Even to this day, like top.
But yo, the reason why I asked you that question was because just so people understand, like, even with celebrities, there's competition with people that got TV shows on. So channels 2 through 7, that was considered a major network. That's where you getting the big money.
Yep.
You know, you on 8:30, 9:30, you know, it's 8, whatever those time slots right there is the money slots. Right. Y'all had that big money slot. So everybody from the actors to the writers to the grips, like, yo, y'all craft service was like a Thanksgiving down that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, like now, and on the real, like I notice when you come out here, a lot of people come out here implants, and we get caught up in that real quick, and they quick to lose themselves in that and forget. You know what I'm saying? But that was one thing I always like appreciated about you and admired you, that you never lost that. Like you was always KB. Like, nah, this who I am regardless. Like this just pay my bills. Like you always looked at it like that.
Yeah, but
Always
yo,
respected.
again, I knew what I wanted to do from 10 years old, so I'm not out here to play no fucking games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, I ain't no joke, but I'm gonna get the last laugh, and I'm gonna make you laugh. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, you know, and I've been doing that, yo, bro. This is 28 years later. You know what I'm saying? And the ill shit is this. Like I said, today's my anniversary of moving to LA, and being Allah's will, April 2nd is my 56th birthday. So there's 28 years. I'm exactly half my life in New York, half my life in LA, or half my life outside of LA, because I lived in DC at Howard, you know what I'm saying, and all that shit.
Yeah.
I lived in Florida for a hot minute. So half my life I'm more California than I am New York and shit. But
It's crazy.
my core, my soul, come on, bro. Like,
Exactly.
and yo, but again, to get back to your original question, man, like, and to what you just said too, like, yo, it's funny because like I was just watching the Netflix joint, and that shit took me back to that time, because I remember like when Biggie came, when he did his episode, I felt like this sense of pride, because I knew Biggie from, you know, living in Brooklyn and shit. Like he knew me from playing ball,
Yeah.
and so, you know, Big was like I always reached out to dudes that like I fuck with, like Meth. I put, you know, I'm not saying me per se, but I put Meth on TV for the first time. I was responsible for putting Biggie in that episode. If you know, I bought, like, Martin was the creative, the jewel, the gem, you know, that was just the, you know, the genius. And then you had like Benny Richburg and Bentley Evans, who were these just classic fucking funny ass brilliant fucking writers. And but I bought one thing I bought, and to talk about, you know, what you're talking about, and this is what separates us from, I guess, everybody else, if you will, us transplants, is I bought a whole new different level of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at
Right.
season one, you look at season one of Martin. Martin had a lot of R&B type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Season two, Martin was rocking hats. He was rocking hockey jerseys back then, rocking Timbs, because that's what I was walking around with. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? And it's like, you know, like a lot of slang and shit. So Martin became a lot more hip hop, and that was in harmony. That's one of the reasons Martin wanted me on the show, because it was more in harmony with his comedy. Because, you know, we was doing Def Comedy Jam at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, yo, and it was like Martin was, yo, I always fuck with Martin, man. And of all the different doors he opened up to me, bro, the one thing I fuck with that man on is that a couple of things. That brother, this is the rarity in Hollywood. I don't know no other experience like this. That man never, ever gave his word and didn't keep it. You know what I'm saying? Like every fucking thing he said we was gonna do and get down with and achieve, we did that shit. Every fucking thing. Like a lot of niggas be like, yo, nigga, when I blow up, nigga, I'm gonna reach out. Like, no, this nigga, he did
Nah,
that.
y'all did it.
Yeah,
Now,
he
yo,
did.
let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
From 10, starting at 10 years old, because I want to take people through, you know, a lot of people think you just get to where you are. Like one day you just wake up and you that ill writer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and my man Floyd F. Sharp, we was having a talk about this. And we both from the same hood, Fort Greene.
Right on.
And I was asking, I was like, yo, do you think we got where we are? Because he out here now, he's in Vegas though, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He doing his thing, you know? And I was like, yo, do you think we got where we are by luck? Or was it just that we wanted to get out? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, it was both.
Yeah.
He was like, we wanted it, and but it was also we put ourselves at the right places in the right times to get to where we are. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to start from when you was 10 years old. How did you, you know, you knew you wanted to be a writer from watching Sanford and Son.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start honing your skills? Because mind you, probably just like you, there wasn't writers programs for black kids in
Nothing.
schools. There wasn't, who's gonna tell this kid, yo, go get a screenwriter's book, start reading this. So how did you get yourself involved in it?
Yo, it was again. I remember specific. I can't tell you why. You know, God gave me this elephant's memory, but I remember my mother bought me the old school uh, Radio Shack tape recorder, and you know, the flat joints with the play, record, stop, rewind, and fast forward buttons, and that was it. And not even a box. I'm talking about the flat tabletop joint. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the shit that looked like a hard drive now, or you know, some ill shit. And so she bought me that, and I had one cassette tape, a Maxell 60 minutes, which meant a 60 Maxell 60, which had 30 minutes on each side. A side, I used to tape the audio portion every Friday night of Sanford and Son.
Right.
And so, like, all through that week until the next episode, I'm listening to that episode over and over and over again. So I'm studying how to tell a joke and timing and you know, the setup. So even to this day, when I watch reruns now, or some, you know, I'm watching an episode of Sanford and Son now, I'll be like, yeah, that's an episode I remember taping when I was 10 years old. Because I remember studying that shit, bro, unwittingly, not even just like knowing that I was studying. And then on Wednesday night, I would take that same cassette tape, I would flip it over, put it in the same joint, play and record. And on Wednesday night, I would tape the audio portion, because there wasn't no VCRs, there wasn't
Right.
no DVRs, there wasn't none of that shit. I was taping the audio portion of Good Times and doing the same thing. And again, when I watch old episodes now of Good Times, I'm like, yo, I remember I taped that episode. And I'm sitting here, I'll be with my, you know, even with my kids, and they'll be like, damn, Dad, like, how do you know this? I'm like, yo, I remember what I was doing when I was 10 years old. I'm crazy like that. And
That's crazy.
so for the first couple of years of my life, knowing what I wanted to do from 10 years old to like maybe 12, 13, because Sanford and Son was on from 72 to 77.
Right.
And Good Times was on from 1974 to 1979. So I remember from like 75 through like 78, I remember having, you know, recording that. That's the first step. And then the second step, even to add to what you said you and your man was talking about, growing up in New York, it had its perks, because we grew up when this culture called hip hop was being birthed. And I wasn't ballsy enough to write rhymes and go and get down at a party. But because I heard my boys do it, or because like a dude like Kaz, who's like a big brother to me, I'm like, yo, this dude is making people laugh, and you know, he's saying some relevant shit. It's in rhyme form, so I could do that same shit in short story form. I could do that same thing with, you know, the things that I write. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So hip hop gave me that, like, that feel and that confidence, like, yo, I got a voice that could be heard. You know what I'm saying? It might not be on the mic and no party up in the Bronx. It might not be at Rocksteady Park, but yo, I could be heard, man. You know what I'm saying? And I still want to be a writer. And somebody's writing these black shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew somebody. I knew certain names. And so I remember that was at like late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And I remember, you know, like seeing certain, and I mean, the ill shit is this. I mean, one of my favorite shows, early 80s was, late 70s, early 80s was White Shadow on
Oh
CBS,
yeah.
right? Kevin Hooks, the character who played Thorpe, was like my favorite character on the show. And it was something about that cat. I just liked his coolness. You know what I'm saying? He was real believable as an actor. So just keep that in mind. That was like one of my favorite shows. I'm gonna fast forward to something in a minute. So like 1980, you know, when I graduated high school, 83, I went to Howard. And as you said earlier, there was writing programs, but it wasn't what I was looking for. It was more journalism. It was more,
Right.
you know, novels, and, you know, like, and I wasn't trying to write books. I wasn't trying to be a reporter. I was trying to write sitcoms. I was trying to be funny. And so I stayed at Howard for 3 years, and I majored in partying and selling weed. And I could tell you more about parties than I could tell you about classes. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you more about girls than I could tell you about my grades. Yo, I was horrible. But that's still my alma mater. HU, you know, I still claim HU. I don't know if they claim me, but I still claim HU.
All right.
And you know, so like, I wasn't really getting down like I wanted to, man. And I felt like I was out there hustling. And in 1986, Len Bias died. And the energy in DC, Maryland was all kind of fucked up, man. And so I was like, yo, I'm out of here, man. I had a chance to move out to LA. And I stayed with some cousins in Redondo Beach, shorty. I was getting ready. I was like, oh man, here it is. This is it. I'm gonna be out on the beach, yo. I'm good. I'm ready to go. It's 1986. And I get out there, and my cousins, whom I love on my father's side, they was all smoked out. They was all fucked up. They was all sitting around the kitchen every day, 2, 3 in the morning with a pipe. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. And I'm sleeping on the floor. I got a job at a Radio Shack on the corner of like Aviation Boulevard and like somewhere in Redondo Beach. And I remember watching the '86 Mets. Coincidentally, that's when they were having their run, when they played the Houston Astros in the NLCS, and then they played the Red Sox in the World Series. I watched a lot of that in the Radio Shack, and I actually hooked up with this girl. This is all tied in. I hooked up with this girl. So I'm still that kid that got, I'm working at Radio Shack because that's where my mother bought the tape recorder. And I met this girl from London that I was, dating, I was fucking around with. And she wanted me to take me on a date. And she wanted to take me to go see this movie called She's Gotta Have It. And I was like, all right, cool. And I went there, shorty, and I saw that shit. And I was just like, yo, I got to get in touch with this dude. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Spike, and I was like, I got to get in touch with this dude, man. So I started writing Spike letters, started sending Polaroids, started just however I can get in touch with him. I got his number. His number at 40 Acres was 718-624-3703. I still remember the number.
Damn.
Yo, word is bond. I still remember that shit like yesterday. And I was writing them. This is summer and fall, right around October 1986. Messi just won the World Series. And I jumped on a bus, went back to New York, and I ended up getting a job working at Radio Shack at the World Trade Center.
Oh, okay. Crazy.
And then I ended up transferring and getting a job at the Wiz at 86th Street and 3rd Avenue. And what's crazy about that is I remember working up there right around the same time, a couple of years later, when Coming to America debuted. And I saw it, there was a movie theater right next to the Wiz on 86th and 3rd Avenue. And that's why I saw it Coming to America. And now the ill shit is that Coming to America, the shit is coming out on Friday.
Right.
So 86 come around and I'm working at the Wiz, and one of my coworkers comes in. 86 is in 87 now. Now it's 1987. One of my coworkers comes into the Wiz and is like, yo, your boy Spike Lee, because I'm bragging, I'm lying and shit. Shorty like, yo, Spike is my man. Y'all gotta go see some stuff. I'm lying and shit, just lying, just for fucking lying ass. Like, I don't know Spike from, like that. And she comes in like, yo, your man Spike is gonna be speaking. He's gonna, speaking at Howard at your alma mater. I'm like, oh, word. Like, all right, so yo, my mother, I don't know, I lied. I came up with some lie and got my mother's car for the weekend. She had a Cutlass Supreme. And I drove that shit from Long Island down to DC. And I'm bragging, I'm telling all my boys, like, yo, Spike is my man. And Spike was having a party for homecoming. How was homecoming?
All right.
And this is homecoming 1987. And so it's late October. And Spike has this party, so and EU was performing because Spike had just finished shooting School Days. School Days was coming out in like 4 more months. So EU was performing The Butt, which is like the #1 fucking song in
Oh yeah, that shit was bonkers back then, yo. Yeah. Yo, go-go music wasn't on in New York. When that shit came out,
yeah,
that shit was popping, yo.
Yeah, yo,
that shit was popping.
That was the first music video I ever worked on, coincidentally, which was a year later and shit from the story I'm telling you. So it's October 87, and EU performed at Spike's party, and it was a sea of heads. And I don't know, somehow, some way, Spike saw me, and I had a crazy haircut with like the Anthony Mason shit with my name and stars, and, you know what I'm saying, all that crazy shit. And Spike seen me, was like, yo, come on up. And I was with my man. And my man was finally like, yo, shit, I guess you do know this motherfucker. I'm lying my ass off. Like, I don't, I have no idea. Because there's like 2,500 motherfuckers outside trying to get in. And it was at the old post office pavilion. It was at the old post office pavilion, which was directly across the street from the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C. Howard's homecoming, 87. And Spike was like, yo, I got all your letters. I got all your postcards. I got all your Polaroids. I got all your email. I mean, not emails, but all your voicemails. He's like, yo, you want a job? You can start tonight. I got something for you right now. He said, yo, my cousin Malcolm, director, Malcolm is upstairs selling sweatshirts. He's getting swamped. Can you go help him out? I'm like, yo, I got you, no problem. It's probably like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Next time I looked at my watch, it was like 3 in the morning. Party was ending. And I got to go back to Radio Shack the next day.
Right.
So it's 3 in the morning. I got to open on Sunday. Like we open at 11, so I had to be there like 10. So I leave the party, drive my mother's Cutlass back. Spike gave me, matter of fact, this is what happened. This is the key part. Spike gave me a t-shirt and a sweatshirt and his number, 718-624-3703. And he said, yo, call my assistant, Tracy, make an appointment. Let's talk some more, about doing some work together. I'm like, all right, cool. You come to work for me. I was like, all right, cool. So I drove back to New York on Sunday, worked Radio Shack, called Tracy on Monday. We set up a meeting for Tuesday, which just so happened to be the Knicks home opener. Look for the Knicks home opener. I believe it was like the first week in November. The Knicks played the Boston Celtics. And our man Mark Jackson was a rookie. He had just been drafted, so I was excited.
Yeah, Mark. Let me tell you something. That's when the Knicks was the Knicks.
87.
That's when the Knicks was the Knicks.
87. That's when I was a fan, fam. Come on, And so, I met with Spike. He asked me if I wanted to go to the game. Fuck yeah. And we got to the Garden, and we met Nelson George and Chris Rock. Spike and Nelson George and Chris Rock all had seats together. And by halftime, I was Spike's assistant. And my job at 40 Acres was to clean the bathroom and clean the office after hours every day. And I did that for 2 weeks. And that was late November into early December of 1987. And that's when we shot right next door to Spike's office, which was on DeKalb Avenue, 124.
DeKalb Avenue, yeah. I went to school at 113, which was right there.
Right.
So I had to see Spike all the time.
And we had 124 right there, right at the firehouse. And right there is when we shot the butt right there, Brooklyn Tech, right at Tech, in the top floor in the cafeteria. And if you look real closely, right when the butt video starts, you can see me and Malcolm Lee kind of talking behind a pole. And we actually got in trouble. I always got Malcolm in trouble because I was always making him laugh and doing shit when we're supposed to, you're not supposed to be talking on set and shit. I used to always get this dude in trouble making him laugh and doing stupid shit. And that was my first video I ever did. And then I was full-time working in Spike at 40 Acres. The first commercial I ever did was for the Jordan 3s a week later. And the ill shit was this, yo. So I know a lot of people, I never always tell a story, but a lot of people, I'm telling more recently. We shot the commercial for the Jordans. I worked on the Jordan campaign in 87, 88, and 89. And we shot the commercials in October, November. But the sneakers didn't come out till All-Star Weekend in mid-February. So after we shot, I would always beg this dude named Jim Riswald, who was the head of Wyden and Kennedy. Look up the name, Jim Riswald. He's a fucking advertising legend. He's the Spike Lee of fucking advertising. He's the one that came up with the whole concept of Spike and Jordan. And Riswald, I would kind of like, yo, Jim, I'll trade you some T-shirts and hats. What's up with the sneaker? You know what I'm saying? So whatever sneaker that you saw in the commercial, 2 weeks later, that was on my feet. And the ill shit was I had the J's 3-4 months before everybody and never had no beef when niggas was getting killed later on. Right. You know what I'm saying? I had them shits 3-4 months before everybody. I wore them, and trust me when I tell you, I wore them just every day. You know what I'm saying? Every fucking day. And it was because that was my size. It was the prototype was size 9.5. Was 9.5. I couldn't fit them now. Now I'm a 10.5. But back then I was 9.5. There's a little snug, but I worked with it because I had the 3s before everybody. You couldn't tell me shit. I had the 3s before everybody. I'm walking up DeKalb Avenue every day just when Brooklyn Tech is letting out.
And that's Fort Greene in the height of the fuckery. You know what I'm saying? So that shit was but see, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't understand, even when you're working on the sets, and especially when you're new, you still be having that shitty job to go to in the fucking morning. And I want to tell people that, and I really wanted to bring that point across to a lot of people, you know, and you know, that's just trying to get out there. You got to do that shitty job. You know, like you said, you know, oh, I work for Spike Lee. Niggas ain't know you was cleaning toilets and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not always fancy. Yeah, it's not always fancy. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I came out to LA, you know, it was on some like Marlon and Sean like, oh, come out here and come out. I'm like, oh shit, cutting hair on a TV show. Psst. I didn't know the schematics of it. Like, oh, it's seasons to this shit. Like this shit ain't just on every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my black ass found myself working on Hollywood Boulevard at a barbershop in between seasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Shit, passing out flyers, doing all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta hustle and grind while you still, you know, in the midst of that. You know, but yo, thanks for bringing that up. But another thing I wanted to touch on was, how did you get to meet Martin Lawrence and work with him?
Well, that goes back to, it's funny, man, working at 40 Acres, summer of '88. You know, Spike always dropped whatever project we worked on. He dropped it on the staff, the 40 Acre staff, before everybody else saw it. And we would give him feedback. And one of the reasons he hired me was I was that kid. I knew all of the hip hop shit. I knew all the songs. I knew all the slang. I knew the hot clothes. I was that, you know, I was shorty. You know what I'm saying? I was you know, before you and shit. And so Spike, you know, he fucked with me and shit, man. And so when we did Do the Right Thing, I kind of knew what the script was. And so people started trickling in, you know, right when we was going to start shooting. And so one day I'm coming in. One thing you don't do, son, and I always tell that shit when I say the story. One thing you don't do, you don't sit at my fucking desk, man. I'm not going to sit at your desk. I'm not going to do that shit. I don't give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have yo, that's this where I work. This where I get down. Like, I don't know you. You just going to sit at my desk. So I come in from making my run, doing whatever I was doing, because I'm off bathroom duty now. Now I'm full-time, just PA in the office. And I come back in the office, and this dude with a USA boxing jacket on and some big-ass EKs, shades on, mind you, inside. Like, all right, it's one of these niggas. He got on shades inside, sitting at my fucking desk. And I was like, yo, Spike. And Spike's office was like off, you know, he had a long office. So I'm like, right when you came in the office, it was my little desk. And his office was at the, you know, the far end, like on this little riser, or his desk. I was like, yo, Spike, who's your man, yo? Like at my desk, man. Like, you know, I'm half like serious, but half of my, you know, tongue in cheek. And he's like, oh, yo, that's Martin Kenny. He's, you know, he's one of the actors in the movie. I was like, oh, okay, well, tell his ass to act the fuck up out my seat. I remember saying that. And Martin fell the fuck out laughing, yo. And he was like, I was like, yo, nah. He's like, yo, you want to get up? I was like, nah, I'm just fucking with you, man. You cool, good to meet you, da-da-da-da-da. And right then and there, and then he said something, Stu, like Martin never told a mother joke because he loved his mother so much, he'd be ready to fight if you got a good one off. So he wouldn't tell mother jokes, but Martin would tell aunt jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like he wouldn't say mother jokes, but mother was off limits, but aunts rather, you can go at aunt real hard. And he said some shit about my aunt, and I was just like, oh, all right, you got me back. All right. And from that moment, we became cool, man. Like every day, just kicking it. And when we shot Do the Right Thing, Spike would team up different people and, you know, random brownstones and shit, and they would roommate together. And Spike and Martin and Robin Harris were roommates. And they live like going, you know how it was, like going, like walking down DeKalb, closer to downtown Brooklyn on the left side. I forget, like, what's that street?
Yeah.
It was the street past 40 Acres. I forget that shit. I don't know why the fuck I can't remember that shit. But they had a brownstone there, and Robin Harris used to watch these he was a big fan of like old Humphrey Bogart and Clark Gable movies, black and white joints. And I would come in there, man, and then Martin would be chilling, and them two would just start snapping on each other. And that shit used to be so fucking, yo, bro, I used to leave that.
Hold up. So you sitting there as a fly on the wall, watching Robin Harris and Martin Lawrence rank on each other.
Every night, go at each other.
Oh my goodness! On
the steps, and this the summer of '88. We Do the Right Thing. We shooting a movie.
And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like that feeling in Brooklyn in the summer, Spike really captured that shit on film.
Yeah, bro.
Like you felt that shit.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what we feel. Like what you saw, that's what we do in New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just imagining y'all sitting out there, you know, everybody chilling, just trying to get some air. You know what I mean? And these two motherfuckers is going at it. Bro. Probably roasted like a motherfucker.
Yeah, we would go like to Junior's, or we might go to like a pizza spot up on DeKalb and shit, Pizza King up on DeKalb and shit, and you know, and or whatever, and just like I would go there, like it was summertime, so you can't be cooped up in the crib all night. So that Robin would just be outside, and we go get some beer, might smoke a blunt, whatever, and it's just the three of us. And a lot of people don't know Robin worked out a lot. You know, you couldn't really tell, but Robin stayed in the gym and shit. He's one of them dudes that's on the treadmill like all the time and shit. And you know, so we would always take walks, man, and just talk, man. He was, you know, Robin was like we was fucked up when he passed, man. Excuse me, Martin was, you know, he called me about, you know, told me that shit, and I was fucked up, man, because like, damn, we was kicking it, man, and like we were playing ball the first week on set. It was like a rainy day, like on the first week of shooting, and I played ball. We were playing ball, and I sprained my ankle. I broke my ankle, rather. Excuse me. I grabbed the rebound, and I came down on Louis Ramos's foot and broke my ankle. And Louis Ramos, real good ball player, great actor, real good ball player too. That's my brother, man. Just had a birthday. I love that dude, man. And so I was on crutches for like the first like 4 weeks of shooting. So I was in the holding area. So I was kicking it with like, you know, everybody who worked at, you know, whatever was working that day. I remember having hours-long conversations, and I got my foot in the cast, so I can't do nothing, with like Ozzie Davis and, you know, Ruby D and Danny Aiello, you know what I'm saying? Me and, yo, John Turturro used to say I look like John Starks. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we just talk basketball, man. And who else? I mean, like, Do the Right Thing was like this university, like this. You know what Do the Right Thing was, bro? Working on Do the Right Thing was, and anybody that worked on at 40 Acres and was a 40 Acres University graduate, as what we call it.
Yeah.
Working on Do the Right Thing, and that's Mitch, because Mitch was there. That was the first masterclass. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was the first. Look, yo, think about it like this. I'm looking at Ruth Carter. I'm looking at Wynn Thomas. I'm looking at Ernest Dickerson. And I'm looking at Spike Lee at work every day. Not to mention all the actors. Not to mention Giancarlo Esposito. You know what I'm saying? Right. Not to mention whoever, you know, Danny Aiello. Not to mention John Turturro. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention the late, great Bill Nunn. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of the greats, man. You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
You was around. I mean, like, when I was thinking about talking, I just was thinking about the cast, like, you know, Samuel Jackson, John Turturro, you know, Ozzie Davis, Ruby D. You know what I mean? Like,
if you look at the cast,
Robin Harris, like you said, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't just get to work with people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people, of course, because they passed on and never had that opportunity. But, you know, Ozzie Davis and Ruby D alone was like amazing, you know?
Yeah, bro.
Now, so that was the first movie you ever worked on, right?
That was really the first movie I worked on was post-production of School Days. Right when School Days wrapped is when I came on. So I got a taste of that. And the first person I've met was Buford Marcellus. And
oh, wow.
Like, if there's a cooler motherfucker other than you and him, shorty, you know what I'm saying? This the first motherfucker I'm meeting the first day of work at 40 Acres. You know what I'm saying? After I clean the bathroom, I gotta go fucking bring something to Spike at Sound One in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Because he's doing post production and shit. Branford, who don't know me from nothing, he's like, "Yo, you want to ride back to Brooklyn?" I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it." You know what I'm saying? Like, first fuck, I met him 7 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Yo, you want to ride? Come on." We get in the Saab. He driving crazy fast, and I love that shit. We got to Brooklyn in like 10 minutes from Midtown, and then we went to this store. It's like this boutique store and shit. And he was buying like this TV, like this top line state of the art TV and shit from this boutique store in fucking Brooklyn. And I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go grab the TV and I'm ready to put this shit in the back of his house." He's like, nah, let that white boy get it. And I was just like, Buford Marcellus is he's that real of a motherfucker. Like, I was like, "Yo, this is my first day and I'm chilling with Buford Marcellus and he's telling these motherfuckers,
right.
Like, oh yeah, bro." It was like every day was some surreal shit. I would go to fucking Sound One where we did all the post production, and every day I would walk in and I would see like, damn, that's Ozzie Davis, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's fucking
That's what I'm saying. And see, Samuel Jackson wasn't really the Samuel Jackson that we know today, but that Samuel Jackson. You know what I'm So you had Samuel Jackson, a great actor, early in his career. Ozzie Davis and Ruby D, pillars,
legends,
masters of the craft,
Yes.
So let me ask you something. From watching them work, all of them are masters. What did you learn? What did you take from that? Did you take something different from each of them and apply it to your writing?
One thing I learned, I'm gonna tell you what I got. Because even like Rosie and I were real cool. I remember asking Spike one time, because a lot of the same people he had, like in Joe's Bed-Stuy Barbershop, a lot of the same people he had in School Days. He worked with a lot of the same actors, because John Carlo was Dean Big Brother Almighty in School Days, and he was bugging out, in Do the Right Thing. Bill Nunn was in School Days, and he was Radio Raheem and Do the Right Thing. And, so he and I said, yo, why do you use the same people? And he said, KB, because I know what I'm going to get, and I know what I'm not going to get. I know I'm going to get great performances because they're great, they're professionals, but I know I'm not going to get no fucking headache. I know I'm not going to get an asshole, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy shit is, because I had my foot in the cast, I got a chance to kick it with a lot of people. So when holding cell and the weather's bad or there's some sort of technical problem, and you can just, like you just mentioned, like Sam, me and Sam used to like just kick it and just talk sports and just, just the neighborhood and shit, you know what I'm saying? Because we shot on Stuyvesant between Lexington and Quincy. So like, right there. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, right away from Gates and shit, where Kane fucking, where Kane.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so
Bed-Stuy was lit when they were shooting that. Bed-Stuy was lit.
Bruh.
Bed-Stuy, let me tell you, first of all, you didn't really want to go to Bed-Stuy if you wasn't from Bed-Stuy, first and foremost. So that brought a lot of attention over there. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Bed-Stuy was lit that summer.
Yeah. Summer '88 was fire for him. Yo, fam.
That shit was lit, yo. And they captured all of that. Now I want to get on to Martin.
Yes, sir.
So how did that come about when you started working on the show and you moved out here? How did all that come about?
When we did Do the Right Thing, when we, what happens when a movie ends, man, as a movie, you're doing a movie, you bond and you have friendships. And as it ended, man, and Martin, ended up breaking out, man. I think he went back to DC for a minute, then he went back out to LA. I think he went right back out to LA after he finished shooting. And it was like, yo, whoever, like we both kind of got our foot in the door. We both doing our thing. But whoever really blows up, let's let's reach back out for the other one and put them on. And, so whatever I could plug Martin in on, if I heard something that was going on, I was going to say, yo, man, try to get this audition or try to get whatever. And like, I bought Martin his first pair of Jordans at the Nike store and shit back in LA and shit. And so we kind of, went our separate ways. I left 40 Acres after 2 years. I worked from 40 Acres from 87 to 89. So in 1990, I went out to LA for the first time, had a chance to work on Living Color. Keenan offered me a job, but I was homesick and I wanted to get back to New York. Came back to New York, created my son, my eldest son, Elijah, and started working at Yo MTV Raps in 1991, excuse me. During that same time, Martin is doing a lot of stand-up. He's doing little movies here and there and getting little roles. And then he did a House Party. And so one day he hit me up, and I'm working at MTV, working with Ed Lover, Dr. Dre. He hit me up. Martin hit me up like, yo, like I'm doing this tour. I don't want to, have people see me doing the same material that I'm doing on this new show that I'm hosting with Russell Simmons called Def Comedy Jam. So like, yo, can you come through and help me write some material? I'm like, yeah, shit, bet, let's do it. And so we would shoot Def Comedy Jam at the Academy Theater. I think it was like 40th and Broadway or 39th and Broadway, something like that. And the MTV offices were at 1515 Broadway, which is on Broadway between 44th and 45th Street. And so I would do my Ed and Dre scripts. I would do my Fat Five Freddy shit, leave that shit, and go either shoot with Martin or go to the hotel and write with Martin. and do that shit, come back to MTV. So I was kind of moonlighting, doing MTV shit and doing Martin shit. And Chris Albrecht, head of HBO, because you know Def Comedy Jam was HBO show. He saw the chemistry and the camaraderie that me and Martin had, and the comedy that me and Martin had. And so he was like, and Martin was a really headstrong dude, you know what I'm saying? But Chris saw how much Martin respected me and how much I was able to like, nah, bro, like that's not funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it, try it this way too, you know what I'm saying? And Martin trusted me, and we had a really good symmetry, man, and a really good chemistry. And Chris Albrecht offered me a job. He said, we're offering Martin the show, because if you look at HBO, look at the show, at the credits, it's HBO Independent Productions that produces the show. And he's like, we're doing this show. We want you to come write on the show as a staff writer. And I was like, nah, thank you, Chris, but no thank you,
You turned it down?
Bro, I want to be a writer all my life, shorty, and I got this shit right in front of me.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, so you want to be a writer all your life, and you get offered an opportunity to write on a major network, and you said no?
I just told you my son was born. I did not want to leave my son. So, and I'm working at MTV. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And I knew, like I said, I knew Martin was headstrong. So I'm like, yo, ain't nobody going to fuck with this dude for no period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my brother. I know my boy. Right. But so Martin was like, he was like, all right, cool, man, no problem. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Martin took me to Orlando to the All-Star game. Magic Johnson's comeback game after Magic, told the world he was HIV. And we went to that All-Star game in Orlando. I got all the footage on video. I got it all. I'm about to put it out and make some money for us, shorty. And like, Mom was like, yo, you sure you don't want to go? I was like, yo, man, I'm a father. I got the footage of Martin in my crib, in my home. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you sure you don't want to go? I'm like, nah, bro. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I'll be there supporting you, whatever. So he went back out to LA. He did the Martin show, then came back and did season 2 of Def Comedy Jam, which then that shit took off because of the Martin show. And so he was flying me out.
Hold on. You watching Willie Dynamite?
Yep.
You watching Willie? Willie.
Yo, bro,
I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I did that for you too. I got like a whole
You put me on to that. You put me on to Willie Dynamite.
Let me tell you this. That was one of the things I miss. It's crazy.
At your crib.
Yes, I knew it was gonna get to this shit. Yo, I used to love, I used to fuck with this dude in South Central. This cat on Crenshaw and King. I forgot the name of his video store. It's like Video Kings or some shit. And he had every black joint. And so I had all the posters. Like, I can't have the posters and I had the movies, you know what I'm saying? And so I remember even going back, let me fast forward a little bit. Let me fast forward. Let me finish telling the story. So, because it's funny how you mention that shit. Because this is around 92. All the shit is happening. Martin is doing the show. And so 92, Martin shot Boomerang.
Okay. So
I'm in New York and I'm already at MTV and I was actually working on X. I went back and started working with X, with 40 Acres. And halfway through X, I left X and went to Boomerang and started working with Martin on Boomerang. And I remember I bought, and this is funny, you'll appreciate this shit. I remember me and Martin used to always quote Watt Stacks.
Yes. You put me on the Watt Stacks.
Yo, bro, you'll appreciate this shit.
We was at your crib for like 6 hours that day. You put me on the Nothing But Classics.
Yo, you know the funny shit about that shit, though? You know the funny shit about this shit, shorty? Like, you always tell me this shit. I'm surprised you didn't say that shit. And don't get cute because you on fucking Instagram, nigga. Yo, you always tell us shit when you was like, yo, KB, when I came to your fucking crib, because you came to my man Lil Dog's, Adrian's, and that's the classic shit right here.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the classic shit right here. You got to have vision. Yo, when you came to my man bachelor party that I threw for my man up in my crib and shit up in the hills, you was like, you bugged out so hard when you saw that I had rolled like 30 blunts and like put them in a bowl, like, yo, just go ahead. And you was like just take one, nigga. Like you couldn't believe, like, it was like I could take 2. Like, you know, like I remember you said that shit, and I remember laughing like, yo, nigga, take 5. I don't give a fuck. You take, you know what I'm saying? Take that shit and sell them. And you were like, yo, you were stuck.
I was talking to somebody about this because, you know, like when I started working with Marlon, you know, I'm going different places. Now, mind you, I'm a nigga from the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're not used to seeing like a lot of shit. So he take us to this fancy. I never forget. We in Canada, right? We sit down at the table. So they bring the fucking food out, and this bread is good. Some fresh bread. Yo, pass me that soy sauce. That shit is balsamic vinaigrette sauce. Like, I don't know shit. I got shit dropping from my mouth. You know what I'm saying? But like, you don't know, so you experiencing all new shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
a new
sir.
place.
Yes, sir.
All you know is you got money, you hungry, and this place looked like they wouldn't let you in, so you gonna go in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
and bro, it was like that.
Come on, man.
So yo, I want to talk about something now. Some of my favorite characters on the show, was Jerome. That was one of my favorite characters.
Right.
And the little snot-nosed boy. That was my little man.
Roscoe.
Yo, how did you... Because, see, I know you, right? We'll be chilling. You'll be cool as fuck one day, and you'll call a nigga, yo, and just drop the wildest fucking joke on a nigga the next day. So, how do you and Martin come up with I gotta say all of the writers, how did y'all come up with, first of all, Jerome? How did y'all come up with that character?
Yo, that really, Jerome, I'm gonna tell you where Jerome came from. Like, each character has its own backstory, its own kind of history. Jerome kind of came from the mind of You're My Boy Bentley Evans. Well, better yet, let me say this. Every character came from Martin. But Martin he had different influences in his life. And Bentley Evans, our boy Bent, his older brother's name is Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike was like, and you would fuck with Mike. Because like Mike was like, I used to drive to Bentley crib and have some weed and a 40. Because I knew Mike was gonna be there. And me and Mike would get turned and smoke and drink in Bentley crib. Bentley coming in with an ascot, Bentley fly and shit. And I'm there with a hoodie and fucking Tim's on, and me and Mike are getting smashed. And Mike transformed into Jerome. He was the first nigga I ever heard say player from the Himalayas. And all of that shit, he would quote shit like he was a member of fucking Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And he used to say shit when he would get drunk or high, man. And Martin was like, and Bentley was like, yo, we got to do it like a character like my brother Mike. So Jerome is really kind of based on Bentley Evans' older brother Mike. And, like if you knew Mike, like Mike would say some amazing shit. Like Mike is actually doper than Jerome. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how dope that nigga is. So that's like, you should have Bentley on and ask Bentley that shit, because Bentley, a lot of people don't know, Bentley had a lot to do with the creation of...
You couldn't see a show without Bentley Kyle Evans' name popping up on the screen. That dude did a lot of work. He put in a lot of work.
Yo, that's Martin.
He's a master craftsman.
Yeah, that's
another one of my favorite characters is one that's behind you right now. The security guard dude.
Yo, all right, here's the story. This I can tell with Otis. This is the illest fucking shit. Like the ill. Otis is the ill backstory of Otis is this. Martin and Heavy D were real close, and I started getting close with Hev because of my man Chris Latimer and Hev and all of us. Like all of us was like young kids coming up at that point. 92, 91, 92. We was all like AACA was blowing up. Hev was Hev. Martin was blowing up at House Party, Def Comedy Jam. And because me and Martin was close and Martin and Hev was close, then me and Hev got cool. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of footage and shit with Hev, some other of that shit like in 92 down in Orlando. And so Martin came back, I think it was season 2 of Def Comedy Jam, came back to New York from LA, and Hev invited us up to Mount Vernon to his mother's house for dinner. and we were staying at the Mark Hotel in Midtown, like in Times Square. And so Hev sent his man to come pick us up in the Land Cruiser from the hotel. And he one of us, shorty, you know what I'm saying? He was a real cool cat, man. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no, like, you can tell you got, light-skinned cat. I forget his name. I can't even tell you this cat's name. And so he picks us up, and we just talking. We kicking it. It's like it's real fly. The energy, the vibe is real cool. And wasn't no fucked up shit at all. And we get uptown, maybe like Spanish Harlem and shit. We on the east side. And this nigga's like, yo, okay, but let me say this. You remember the Dave Chappelle sketch with Wayne Brady?
Yes.
And Wayne Brady was like, yo, I'm gonna make a stop real quick. It was this shit, shorty. It was that shit, off. So yo, we going uptown, and this man is like, yo, I gotta make a stop real quick. And we like, all right. And I'm in the front seat in the passenger. I'm riding shotgun, and Martin in the back seat. There's 3 of us and shit. Have man driving the Land Cruiser. So we get like Spanish Harlem, maybe not even up to Spanish Harlem, like 108th maybe, on like 3rd Avenue, some shit. This nigga pull over the projects. I forget the project, not Jefferson, but some other projects uptown. And blow his horn, just like on the Chappelle Show shit. And this nigga got bitches, yo. He's a fucking pimp. This nigga had bitches come to the fucking car. And man, I'm in the front seat, and I turn back to Martin like, yo. And this nigga went from, yo, what's up, y'all? La da da da, yo, I'm half man, la da da da. That nigga went from that to, this is the first time I heard this nigga say this shit. Come here, Miss that pool. Miss that pool, come here. Come here, Miss that pool. And yo, that nigga was completely motherfucking Otis, son. That nigga was completely Otis. Come here, Miss that pool. And that nigga, like, and me and Martin's in the back seat. And that nigga Martin's hitting me, he kicking the seat, he punching the seat, he's pinching me, he poking me. Yo, bro, we were like, yo, this nigga. So we get up there, have crib and shit. Miss Myers cooked some Jamaican some jerk chicken that was just amazing. The greatest jerk chicken I ever had in my life. That's why Hev was heavy D, for real, for real. And me and this nigga could not stop talking about this shit. And I forget his man's name because I heard like he went away for a minute. And then I heard he got murked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what happened to that cat, but that was the vocal inspiration. This nigga went from a smooth, shorty type nigga to, come here, Miss that pool. Let me tell you something, Miss that pool. I mean, that nigga completely turned into Otis. And Martin was like, yo, I'm doing something. Mom was like, I'm doing a character. I'm doing a character.
Yo.
And that's what Otis
That is hilarious.
That was
like, let me ask you.
That was the genesis.
What was your favorite character? What was your favorite character on there?
My favorite character was Otis. See, but man, I like Shanae. Shanae was dope.
You like Shanae the best?
I don't know, man. I like Otis.
I love Otis.
I like Otis.
I love Otis.
I did a scene with Otis. I wrote an episode for Jerome. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Otis. I'm gonna go with Otis. Yeah, I gotta go with Otis. I gotta go with Otis because I was there when
the players ball with Otis, classic.
Yo,
classic.
Me and Bentley wrote
classic.
That shit. Me and Bentley wrote.
So let me ask you this, right? You seem like one thing about, I think the reason why me and you clicked when we met is because we both New Yorkers, no doubt. But
we both smoke weed, motherfucker.
We real.
That's why we click. Fuck all that other shit.
Nah, no doubt, but I'm just saying it's like we real in a sense where it's like we was never with that industry bullshit. Never.
Nah.
We was never with it. A lot of niggas get caught up in that. See, I want to bring that really to I really want to bring that point up because you come out here, you don't got nothing. Like you said, you had bags. You had 2 bags. I had 1 bag. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My money, I was coming from Canada. So my fucking money was Canadian. I didn't even have no fucking money. Yo, Mitch. Yo, dead serious. Listen, I didn't know no better. I didn't even, look, I got to tell you this story, son.
I never knew
I got my cousin Shane with me, right? So we the last to leave Canada. We the last to leave Vancouver, right?
That's crazy.
Boom. You got to pay your duty. Like for all the clothes. Yo, she opened up my bag. I had a whole luggage worth of clothes, tags on it. Yo, she adding shit up like, yo, you got to pay that. I'm like, yo, I ain't got it. Like, I ain't got it.
Yo, that's like when you get the Verrazano Narrows, you only got $3 and the total's $4.50.
Yo,
right.
I had about like $3,000 worth of. I ain't got it. So homegirl had to let us go, right, without paying the duty.
Right.
Yo, look, we get here to LA. I had a crib and everything. Marlon got me a crib, but I didn't have. All I had was like 20 Canadian dollars. Like my money was being transferred over. Yo, Mitch had to feed me. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
And
I love it.
Yo, that shit. But for real, I was thankful for that shit. That week that I didn't have money, waiting for it to transfer over, because that shit kept me humble. Because yo, on the real, motherfuckers come out here, especially on the level that we was on. Like I was working on the Wayans brothers. You was working on Martin. So we was those niggas back then. Like you kind of feel like you made it, and it's easy to forget where the fuck you come from.
Yeah,
niggas get caught up in that shit. Forget they from New York, get a Cali accent, everything. So, I wanted to bring that up to show, like, that was one thing that I always appreciated about you, that you never changed from day one when you had it, when times got hard. Now you back on, when you back, because it's a hustle, it's a grind. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Yo, there's no book. It's like parenting, man. There's no book for this shit, man. Like I heard all the horror stories, you know what I'm saying? But I still fell to a lot of that same shit, you know what I'm saying? But wouldn't change nothing, man. Wouldn't change a motherfucking thing, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not the journey. It's not the destination. It's the journey. And for me, man, it was like I remember when I first met you, and like I remember coming to this, because that was the dope thing too. The other thing is this, bro. It was so easy. It would have been so easy for us to all be in competition, competitive with one another. But it was like Bentley was cool with Sean and Marlon and them. I had known Mitch for years, and so if I met, that's how I met you, through Mitch and them and through Marlon and them. So just coming around, and I was just like, yo, Marlon, everything this nigga Marlon does, that's that nigga Shorty. Like everything Marlon does as on the fucking show, that's this nigga Shorty right here. and you was just like this, like you had this look. Like I always, like a look in a brother's eyes to me means something, or a person's eyes means something to me, man. And like you always was this fearless thinker, you know what I'm saying? Like I always fuck with people, like even if I'm gonna just fuck with y'all, I'm gonna think out the box just to fuck with y'all. Like I might not even really think this way, but I'm gonna present it just to fuck with y'all. Like that's the energy I got, like I used to get from you, because you always presented a different point of view whenever we talked about shit. Like even kicking and watching movies, you were like, yo, and then you would drop some shit on me, like, oh my God, like then I would drop some shit on you, you were like, oh my God, this nigga, how this nigga know this shit? And like we've been doing that shit for it's 20 fucking 5 years now. You know what I'm saying? Think about this shit, like 2.5 fucking decades, yo, and it's crazy. But again, for me, man, like I remember, it's just crazy. Who was it? I'm not even gonna say his name, Steve White. But I remember when I came out and I seen how, like, I knew that cat in New York, how he was one dude, and I seen him in Cali, and I was like, really, nigga? Like, and that was my first week off the boat, my first week, the same story that I told you, March 3rd, my anniversary today.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, yo, and I remember saying to myself, like, I'm not gonna let this motherfucking town, and I heard stories and shit, I'm not gonna let this motherfucking town change me like I seen it change this motherfucker. Because he was a cool motherfucker in New York. But now this motherfucker got a little taste of this shit out here, like, oh, word. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, I knew right away. And something, I was somewhere. Oh, this is what it was. Who was it? I can't remember who it was. But I was somewhere. And a girl came up to this dude. I forget who the fuck it was back then, shorty. But asked somebody for a girl was like, yo, can I get your autograph? And even before pictures and shit. And dude he like turned on us. And I knew this nigga from New York. But I'm trying to think. I know who it was. I can't say his name.
Nah, yeah, don't blow him up. Yeah.
I can't say his name. It's my man. But I knew this dude, And she was like, "Can I get your autograph? I'm a big fan." He was like, "Knock the fuck out my face, bitch."
And these are the people that pay your salary, that keep you on TV, that, you know what I'm saying? That keep you relevant. You know what I mean?
A year earlier, this nigga was the most humble, hungry nigga. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. And this nigga was drunk and humping the fucking cracks in the sidewalk. And it's my man to this day. You know what I'm saying? This nigga's a legend. This nigga's great. But I in that moment, I was just like, yo, you know what? That's the Hollywood story. Like, okay, I'm a farmer. You know what I'm saying? So this is the farm. I can't be in a fucking city when I'm a farmer. So I'm a writer. This is where I gotta be. You know what I'm saying? This is where I want to be. And I'm blessed because I you know, here's the ill shit. A lot of people don't know this. The business side of show business. I live off a pension now. Of all my years of writing, I live off a pension. I've been collecting a pension for like 4 or 5 years. But at the same time, like when you retire as a bus driver, you can't go back to work as a bus driver. You know what I'm saying? As a writer, you retire, you stay retired for 1 month, 30 days. Just for 30 days. And then you can go back to work and start working on a second retirement pension, which is where I'm at right now. And so I get basically my retirement pension, I get that every month for the rest of my life. And I'm good. And it's good. Just off, and I got that. I qualified, and I was vested in my pension in the first 5 years of my career, working on the Martin show. And I only worked on the show 4 to 5 years. I didn't come out. I wasn't even on the staff first season. Started out first season, I was staff writer. By the time the show ended, I was co-executive producer. Along the way,
yeah, see, that's that real spit I wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to hear. Like how you know, a lot of people don't understand that, you know, this is a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't take care of the business side, yo, it's easy to get caught up in the fun.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, because we young and having fun, getting money like we never saw before. And it's easy not to take care of your business for later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now, you know, we near in our 50s, you know what I'm saying? It's like, shit, how long can you do what the fuck it is that you're doing before you need to say, hey, what's in it for me, you know?
Yeah, bro. Yo, bro, I was doing this shit, and I knew, like, I remember writing a Martin Christmas episode of Martin, Brother Claus, and I said, yo, I'm gonna write a Christmas episode because I know every year at Christmas time it's gonna play, and I know 3 months later I'm gonna get a check, and I'm waiting for that check to come in the mail tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, and it's always a good check. You know what I'm saying? And it's like on top of getting a monthly pension. On top of
and you still get your residuals for Martin's show every time it's show, right?
I get residuals every quarter. You know, they come quarterly and shit for me.
Yeah.
And like last year, I made $40,000 last year doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like sitting on my ass, like between my pension and residuals, just doing nothing. I made $40,000 in my sleep last year, and again, that's not a whole lot of money, but it's $40,000 in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, but shit, you still young enough to do other shit. You know what I'm saying?
And again,
and
you know
me. In closing, because you know I don't want to hold up too much of your time. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, we good.
I'm really appreciating this conversation we having. I noticed that you just got away from the whole LA scene altogether. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not your vibe, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the LA vibe or was it the business of it that turned you away from the whole LA scene, like not wanting to be out here no more? Because to me, this is a dope place to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I love the whole scene. You know, I don't need to fuck with a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
I got my kids, you know?
I get it. Yo, we on the same page. LA is dope. Hollywood is fucked up. And I'm not talking about the Hollywood, the section of town.
Right.
The Hollywood that's in men. You know what I'm saying?
That mentality.
Yes. And that's the shit that I don't like. I know a lot of people who are Hollywood ass motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna give you Nick Cannon is Hollywood, but he's the realest fucking Hollywood motherfucker I know. You know what I'm saying? Like like that dude always returned my text. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a Hollywood dude because he knows the game. Like Bentley is a Hollywood dude because he knows the game. but he's a real motherfucker. He's just one of the smartest cats you'll ever meet. And so Hollywood is not, you know, a place where you stay, or it's more of a mindset. It's what's in your heart. And I saw how that shit changed. I seen dudes, shorty. I seen dudes rock shit at a party on a Friday night, and then seen them motherfuckers in Macy's on Sunday returning the outfit like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas, is that serious for you, son? You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen cats do that shit. You know what I'm saying? From the city, from back home. Like, dude, yeah. like what the fuck is wrong with you? Yo, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, man. Like, for me.
Yo, you know who was a real one too when I got out to LA? And it surprised me. It surprised me. I ain't gonna front. I'll tell you why it surprised me. Flex Alexander.
Oh yeah,
he a real one.
Sure he is.
He a real one.
Sure he is.
Yo, yes, when I met the dude through a cat that I was working with, and me and him ended up being roommates. And how we ended up being roommates was we was just cool, and no, me and Flex got cool. That's right. Me and Flex was cool from working on a movie in Canada, and I was hanging out with him. That's how I met my roommate. Flex was like, yo, he had just got Homeboys in Outer Space, and he had just met his wife, and he was moving to a bigger crib, because he ain't want us always over his crib hanging out and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, why don't you take the crib? So he gave me a 2-bedroom over in the valley. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
And he would come get me every day. Me and him would hang out. Yo, Flex is a real dude, yo. Like, but it's not a lot of cats that be out here that be making it and stay real and stay solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So, yo, man, I want to thank you very much for being on.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Yo, when you come out here, we got to get up. You know what I'm saying? Have another...
Make a phone
have
call.
Another 70s movie night, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I can't wait. Yo, make a phone call, get rid of this Rona shit, man. Please do something about this shit. And as soon as this shit clear up, because the wheels is in motion right now. I got some shit that's real hot right now too. So next 6 months, baby, I'll be back out there, and trust me, bro. Matter of fact, we'll do this shit again when I'm back out. That's what we'll do.
Yes.
We'll do that shit.
We'll do a live version. You know what I'm saying?
That'll do it. Matter of fact, we'll see.
All right, my G.
I love you, man. Call me if you need me, baby. Peace.